Hello Corepunkers, and welcome back to our weekly Q&A from Discord. Let's have a look at what questions the community had this week and what the devs had to say about it. The first question for this week is, what plans do the devs have to handle AFK players, leechers, quitters in PvP battlegrounds? The answer they gave is pretty standard. They're going to do what every other game is doing by giving players warnings and even penalties as high as to ban them permanently. However, it is good to note that the battlegrounds will be out a lot sooner before these mechanisms are included into the game. As they say, while these measures may not be available at launch of the battlegrounds, they will be introduced shortly after. So the beginning could be a bumpy ride. Another question the community would like an answer is, who asked for full loot PvP? This question comes from the desire of people to see the game moving forward and having a lot of problems still being in early access. People are wondering whether you should be focusing really on full loot PvP when we have more issues to solve, or we should just go for a bit more PvE to give people content so they don't start leaving the game. That was the main concern about this question. The devs didn't give us a specific answer, in my opinion. So they said that the full loot PvP extraction zone is a key addition to the enhancement of replayability in the game, and that a lot of people were excited about it. However, this topic has been explained thoroughly in a newsletter during August time. It has been discussed several times on Discord, so I'm not going to go through because the answer basically explains how the PvP dungeon is going to work, that island, and what people can do, how they can avoid PvP, the options they have, and so on and so forth. So feel free to pause the video in 2 sections and read the full answer if you would like, but I'm not going to go through it again. Plans for a group finder and raid groups. So group finder functionality for dungeons will be implemented into the game when they release the PvE and PvP dungeons. However, they're also considering to expand the group finder function to open world settings and biomes so people can find groups to do world bosses and other activities and events. That's going to be introduced in the future. As far as the raid groups go, they already have developed these tools, but they don't want to put them into the game yet. They want to make sure they have optimized the core gameplay before they introduce more complex features. Let's hope this doesn't break the game again. How many players played Corepunk the first weeks? According to the devs, we had 70,000 players, which lifted their spirits and the way the game was received, especially the fact that it wasn't a Steam and it had its own launcher. However, we don't know how many people are currently playing the game, and the devs go on to their answers saying how they appreciate the feedback we're giving, how people are sticking with the game, which is all fine, but we started 70,000 people. How many do we have now? That was I think that is one question we need to ask as well, to see after the initial 70,000 people, what was the retention and how well the game is doing right now. The internal question when it comes to early access, alphas, betas, and the rest of the alphabet is whether the progress is going to be wiped. During an early letter on the website as news, they said that they have no intention of wiping early access. They want the progress to continue, and they will not wipe unless there is a critical problem in the game, such as duping or some sort of a hack, something like that. So it was pretty certain that they will not wipe. Now today they come to answer this question during the Q&A on Discord, which happens every week, and they said that they have addressed the progress wipes extensively, and they have. Currently there are no plans for a progress wipe during early access, but we are not strictly opposed to the idea. If a wipe becomes necessary to maintain balance, economy, or gameplay, we will consider it. So this first part of the answer they gave in this cycle of questions remains the same as the one we had on August. However, the second paragraph says that the decision depends on how the game evolves and how players interact with it. A wipe before the full release at the end of next year is likely, as it makes sense both commercially and practically during early access. However, the situation will dictate our approach. Now, they are leaving a much larger percentage open that there might be a wipe before launch, which the launch is planned for 25th of December 2025, pretty much in a year from now. They were pretty clear on the August newsletter saying we will not wipe unless there's a dupe or any critical problem. Now they say, well, we might wipe just before launch, so we give everybody a clean slate and start all over again. Well, it's your call, guys. I don't know, but by the time launch comes in, God knows how far we will be and whether we want to regrind the whole thing. But I suppose that is a personal question and answer for everybody. But now they seem to be leaning a little bit towards a wipe towards the end of EA. Will artifacts, weapons from dungeons, raids, PvP will be any different from the ones we can craft? That is a good question, because what's the point of doing all of those activities if you're not going to get something different, except of course the fun of killing people, completing a dungeon and doing time runs. But the dev says that tiered items are the foundation of Corepunk's itemization, and different game modes and activities will yield varied loot while staying within the base item framework. However, players can expect unique and rare modifiers, recipes and consumables from different modes to deepen item customization. Also, there will be skins for weapons and armor later on, even more than the ones we have right now. Now, this next question falls way far from my knowledge and my specialty, but the question is whether the partnership with Unity to use multiplayer is active, and if so, why they not help them fix the game and stabilize it. And the dev said that not exactly in this area, but they do have a different server logic, so they are handling everything themselves. While this may seem like there are many talented specialists in MMO server solution, this is far from reality. The market has virtually no available specialists with experience in open world MMO servers, in fact. They are almost not existent globally, and finding access one is like a legend of ancient times. I think maybe we're looking for a unicorn. At best, we'll find multiplayer game specialists dealing with numerous loading screens. That's why we are learning everything from scratch and doing it ourselves, which we're genuinely delighted about it. All good. I just hope they can learn fast, because this thing is getting annoying. Crashing, loading screens forever, relaunching, crashing on launch, 403, 405, 409. I don't even know how many 400 more mistakes there are, or they're gonna come up. But I'm happy for them to learn. I'm happy that they want to get the experience themselves, so we can have a much better stable game in the future with faster solutions, but they need to pick up the pace a little bit. This is a very important question for now and for the future. And the question is if they're going to implement any limits on equipped artifacts of the same name. This question refers to you using 6 times the same artifact. For example, 6 times Magenta Medallion and 6 times V6 Heart, which a lot of players are doing right now for PvP, which gives them health, attack power and armor, which is basically all the things you need right now in the game. The dev said that the game initially included mechanics where players could lose percentage of the artifact's power if they equipped identical items. So basically every time you add one, you get less benefit from it. But they have disabled this restriction to explore balancing artifacts without such limitations. So at the moment we can have like 6 times 6v6 heart. However, they recognize that many elements in the game are currently unbalanced, we know, but we are actively working on gradual adjustments on this matter. So for example, currently many players prioritize V6 stats since other attributes seems less impactful. However, when players encounter magic damage, they start considering switching to magic resistant stats. And that's also going to be a problem when the new classes come in. We're going to have the Pyromancer, the Warlock, a lot of spell damage will be coming into the game. Right now is a minimum amount, some bosses maybe every now and then, but it's not really that much of a requirement. Similarly, mana consumption isn't yet balanced, also we know. Leading players to focus on magic damage while ignoring mana related stats. We're introducing minor adjustments to mana consumption, which will soon make mana a critical consideration for players who want to cast more frequently. These are just 2 examples. Dozens of balance changes are planned for the near future, so we'll have something to look forward and see how we're going to have to regrind and change our builds. And of course, hundreds more will follow as we prepare for the full release. Our goal is to make gameplay feel logical, rewarding, and enjoyable. Let's hope so. Last week's questions and answers, people asked about guilds, when they're going to come to the game, if they're going to be able to give ranks and titles to people, we're going to have banners and other functions such as guild bank. Now, we got some answers last week, but this week they're expanding a little bit more, and the major things we need to focus on when it comes to guilds are the following. Number 1, that the guilds will be able to manage, defend, and maintain territories and settlements. Also, that the guild system and content is integrated with a lot of farming systems, allowing players to unite their farms into settlements and collaborating defense. Also, we'll see around the world there's a lot of farming assets and products in the game, and this is because they're going to be used into the guild system. Now, the basic guild content is planned for the game's release, and I'll repeat, the release is planned for 25 December 2025, in a year from now. But until then, they are focusing mainly on creating and engaging engaging core gameplay experience for us, along with the other things they're trying to fix and introduce into the game. So be patient, and guilds will be coming in about a year from this time. Also, this is a good moment to remind you that if you're looking for people to play with or a guild, there is a channel on the official Corepunk Discord where you can find guilds and communities, and you can speak to them and also group up and meet them on Discord until the guilds come into the game. You can use that to start building your relationships with your guildmates. I've grouped up a couple of questions here because the answers are very short. And the first question is, change the looks of our weapons. Yes, we have this feature in plans. It was an original idea, but they didn't tell us when we will be able to do this in the game. A lot of people, including me, we want to have a combat log so we can see what's going on with damage received, damage sent soon. How soon is soon? 2 weeks? And of course, if we will have the ability to trade tier 3 weapons and gear at some point, yes, it is part of the plans, but this will only happen after loot and accessibility adjustments. We also don't know how long this will take. This next question, I think we kind of answered in a different question a bit earlier, but the question on Discord was, why is PvP if there is the same loot? Of course, you can PvP because it's fun killing other people. Main thing on PvP is killing other people, not the loot. However, people do want to have a reward at the end, so they care about the loot. So the dev said that the King's Battleground PvP zone is undergoing a complete redesign. So what we have now is going to be deleted. I'm going to have something new. And they want to introduce a new biome with distinct gameplay to motivate open world PvP. However, this update will release after PvP dungeons are in the game. So I would say 4 to 5 months, but I don't like to give like specifics because nobody knows, and they usually are late when they are delivering something they said they planned. So let's be patient and see how this complete redesign is going to work out. Friends request. We do have a friends list, but you can add anyone in your list if you want to, and there's nothing else they can do about it. So people, what they want is, when you want to add somebody to your friend list, you send them a request and they accept it. If don't, they don't end up in your friends list. That is something they're going to put in line for development, so they don't have something in the works at the moment. Cosmetic preview. We all want a cosmetic preview when you press U or you go to a vendor to be able to see how your gear is going to look like before you buy them and spend thousands of gold if you want to buy every set, all these characters. This is something that they definitely need to implement. They do have the necessary mechanics ready. They just need to allocate the time to configure these features, logic, and interface. So basically it is ready. They just need to find some time. Let's hope between all these bug fixes and complete redesign of other areas, they will find a little bit of time to fix that, so we have something to play with until they come up with some more content. Greed need raid system. That's something we all want, so people can get their items instead of trading all the time something drops with your group. But they do have to find it. That was the funniest answer for this week from myself, because they said, we have to find it. We have made this feature a long time ago. What, you lost and found? We gotta find it. It's a ready working system and they just saved it somewhere in a USB and they can't find it? Come on. Spirit move out of combat timer. People want to keep that 40% speed when you die so you can get to your body a lot faster. And this mechanic, the spirit speed, where you run 40% faster when you're dead, is already on live and is going to stay. And the out of combat timer is something that will be fixed in the future, because right now they are still balancing and refining the aggro system. The aggro system has a lot more problems, just that. For you that don't know what the out of combat timer is, usually when you kill something, 3-4 seconds later you can mount. Now you can get stuck up to 20 seconds after you kill something in combat. That is the problem people want to fix, and hopefully it will be fixed along with the long range aggro and long chasing of animals. It is on the way. Updates will be rolled out soon. Some people want combat to be a little bit more skill-based rather than that casual, tab targeting, press a few buttons and that is, and they want more specializations. So the upcoming hero specializations will cater to diversified playstyles, from straightforward to skill-intensive gameplay, and of course the company always aims to offer something for everyone. This probably will take a very long time. I don't think this will be fully integrated even after release. It will take even longer than that. We have a lot of classes to come in, a lot of balancing to go on. And even now, for example, the Destroyer has some issues with the skills. So be patient with this one. Plants to add different marker icons for the map. Yes, they have plans to add a lot more so we can mark different things easier. I want to see how long it's going to take me to change all the Corepunk pins that I have, but it is a feature that is coming in soon. Now, the last question for this week is about endgame play loop. Now, this question has been asked several times. It has been answered several times, both on Discord and on several newsletters on the website. However, this answer again is extensive on Discord, so I was tracking down a little bit. And some bullet points to be easier and more concise for people. So you will have to do, if you want to, battlegrounds, PvE solo and party dungeons, PvE, PvP dungeons, and raids. Also, open world will serve as the main farming area for resources and items, so you can do that, including open world PvP, of course. Auction house will be coming at some point in the game, and players that enjoy trade and profit-focused gameplay will be able to do that. Also, the different gameplay modes they will introduce will also provide unique rewards. You get different stuff from battlegrounds, from PvP, from full loot PvP. So you might want to participate in all those activities at some point to get something. And also, don't forget, most of the dungeons will be time-based. So speedruns, trying to do the best time, PvP on battlegrounds, leaderboards and rankings, the same thing for the solo dungeons and everything. As long with open world, you're going to have also global rankings. So we will have a lot of things to compete in a more PvP orientated way. It looks like there will be something for everyone. That will be the end game play loop when the game is fully released. Right now in early access is more about leveling characters, grinding your gear, professions, and doing some PvP when you can. It's a little bit more limited, but with the new full loot PvP dungeon coming in, not dungeon, sorry, instance coming in, and with the introduction of another class, things will start picking up again very soon. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. I hope this helps you instead of reading to listen to the answers and a little bit of my commentary. So if you did like it, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Help the channel grow. And I hope to see you in one of our live streams on Twitch and YouTube to talk about Corepunk and anything else live. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the next video.